So here's the deal. I spent all that time working on my YouTube background only to be filming in my bedroom right now. Very classic YouTube, because we don't have central air. Like a true New York kind of townhouse apartment, we have a standard window AC that we picked up from Target the second it even got remotely hot here, and I cannot turn it off without just instantly overheating. These studio lights are too much. So I moved to the bedroom so that the sound wouldn't be too overbearing. That being said, as I speak, there are sirens and fireworks going off in this city. So I'm just gonna power through. Oh my god, we're powering through. I might need to fan myself throughout this video as well. I'm just trying to prevent a sweat mustache. Hi guys, my name is Lacey of Spooky Lips and Fat Hips, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now that I'm not putting the text here, I don't know what to do with my body when I do my intro. I don't know. Whenever I'm gone from YouTube for a long period of time, I always love to come back with a favorites video, because just because I'm not on YouTube doesn't mean I'm not shopping and testing out products and finding out new techniques and things that I love to do. A lot of my favorites in this video though come with like a but. They come with like an asterisk, they come with like a caveat. So I'm gonna talk about them when they pop up in this favorites video. I also have some like non-makeup related kind of householdy things to talk about in this video, because as you can see, I've changed my intro a little bit. I do want to dip my toes in some other non-makeup content, but still remain the majority a makeup channel. I don't know if you don't know what I'm talking about. I did have a drink with me, chit chat, catch up kind of video where I talked about all of this. Still gonna be mostly a makeup channel. We're doing makeup favorites today. Throw in some household stuff in there as well. You know how this works. Blah blah blah. I'm going to start in the order that I would prepare my face for full drag. I'm looking around to see if I got anything. It's been a day. So the first thing that I want to talk about that I actually mentioned in my Sephora insider sale haul, the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cannabis and Oat Dry Oil for sensitive skin. This has been the only skincare product that I've honestly given a shit about for a while now, probably since I got it. In a very beauty guru style way, I will hold up the bottle. Doesn't this feel very old school YouTube? Like I'm literally sitting on my bed right now sharing just products that I love with you guys. I love this. I love this so much. Maybe every once in a while I'll just be in here for the coziness of it. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, so I am a sucker for facial oils. I've said this time and time again on my channel. I think introducing oils into my skincare routine has really changed my skin, has changed the texture of my skin, and has really solved a lot of skincare problems for me, because I'm mostly dry with a very oily T-zone, and I'm very sensitive / acne prone. I break out very easily. I didn't used to break out so much when I was on hormonal birth control. I know that might be TMI, but now that I'm not on it anymore, I get breakouts like if I was a teenager again. But this is something that's really helped that. I've kind of I used to have a multi-layered kind of like multiple serums, multiple sprays, multiple moisturizers, like multi-step thing. Now that it's summer, I don't like to introduce so many products onto my skin just because I don't want to feel clogged up and gross because I'm already sweating and whatnot, and I still like to wear a full beat in the summer. So I've only been using this, and I know the idea of using an oil in the summer might be off-putting, but bear with me. This has worked wonders for my skin. If I forget to put this on, my skin notices and reacts. This basically has stopped I shouldn't say all, this has stopped most breakouts for me, because I think my skin breaks out when it's too dry. I think I've had dehydrated skin for a while, but in my mind, because I was breaking out, I was just sucking the oil more out of my face, and my skin was like counteracting that by producing more oil. It was a thing. I've been using this twice a day, in the morning, at night. Sometimes at night I'll put a heavier moisturizer on top to like really soak in the moisture, because if not, I'm just cakey and awful. But I think the cannabis and the oat in this just is a perfect combination for me. I've liked cannabis oil in the past for my skin and oat in the past. I know that it's very trendy right now. I know that like hemp and cannabis oil is so super trendy right now, and it's this might be my first asterisk. There's this part of me that views the popularization of hemp and CBD and things like that is seriously problematic, because there are still people, primarily people of color, who are suffering from these types of things being mostly illegal for a very long time. and people serving like life sentences and stuff for this. So there's something kind of like privileged to be like, I love this skincare product that has a marijuana based item in it. I don't know. I could do a whole video about like hemp products becoming popular and like the weird cultural implications of that. I feel like Abby said that she was gonna make the same video. If Abby's gonna make that video, I will let Abby make that video, and that's completely fine. I don't know. It's just a topic that fucking fascinates me. That's just me. I don't know. I didn't even realize I have a second fucking hemp product in this video too. This is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, which I believe has hemp in it. I think that's one of the like selling points of this. Hold on, let's look it up. Cannabis seed, hemp-derived cannabis seed extract hydrates to plump and smooth for blissed out skin. Okay, well, there's fucking cannabis in this too. That's fine. I'm not like a prude. I'm not against marijuana or hemp or any of that shit. Love it. That's a whole nother conversation. I already explained myself. Anyway, just speaking about the product in itself. The Milk Hydro Grip Primer is really amazing. I actually have two primers to talk about in my favorites video, which I get is weird, but they both do different things for me. For this one, just talking about the product itself, I had bought the travel size version of this because I didn't know if I wanted to spend the full price on a primer if I didn't like it. But I've been hearing nonstop good things about this. I especially had been hearing good things about other people who had combo skin that they really liked this. So I tried out the travel size. I was obsessed with it, not even in an ironic way. It was just so good. So I bought the full size during the VIB sale as well. What I love about this is how sticky it is. I have found for me that it works the best if I kind of like dab it all over the face and then I let it sit for a second so it kind of warms up to my face, and then I'm able to spread it out into an even layer, and then it's nice and sticky and it adheres foundation really nicely to it. If I don't take that extra second to let it kind of like warm up to my skin, I feel like it's harder to spread the product around, and then I use a lot more product. But it's so super good. I especially love this paired with the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation. I feel like those two made such an amazing foundation primer match. I've been kind of kicking them to the side lately for another match that I'll talk about in a second. But like performance wise, this is really good. I used to use the Smashbox primer because I thought it was really pore filling. I don't really notice a problem with this with my pores personally, but I also don't think my pores were as big as a problem as like I've been told that pores are, if that makes sense. Like I don't think my pores were so ridiculous and problematic that I probably needed a pore filling primer to begin with. That was a tongue twister. Really good though. Like I said, this with the Too Faced foundation, or I also really liked it with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation, and also the CoverGirl matte BB cream. Like something that's kind of more matte worked really nicely with this to stay matte throughout the day, because I also think because this is a hydro primer, it's hydrating. It helped combat the oil in my T-zone. It helped like the overcompensating of oil that I touched on earlier, but it also helped with the dry patches as well. Really, really nice. It's nice sitting on my bed because I can just throw products around when I don't need them. I don't need to have like a table up or anything. I fucking love this. Maybe I'll do this more often. The other primer that I wanted to talk about though is the E.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which had been out of stock forever. From what I understand, I believe Jeffree Star gave this an approval. A Jeffree Star approved, if you will, like duping it for the Tatcha primer. I forget what the Tatcha version of this is called, the Silk Canvas. That's it. So it had been sold out forever, and then I happened to be on Instagram, and shout out to the Instagram account Beauty Deals BFF. She is a rock star. She posted when this was back on the E.l.f. website with like a coupon code that gave you free shipping, so I was able to just order this without having to pay for extra shipping, which was so lovely. When I first tried this, I've actually made a pretty good dent in it. I don't know if you guys can see. Like, I've used like a little but a lot at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. When I first got this and I first tried it, I applied it and I literally felt like, what is the point of this? Because it just felt like a moisturizer. It kind of had that like lotiony kind of feel that a run-of-the-mill moisturizer has. And it didn't have like the stickiness that I like for the Hydro Grip Primer or anything like that, or the pore fillingness. It just kind of felt basic. But I applied it with the foundation I'm going to talk about in a second, and that combination has been so magic. My makeup lasted forever the first time I tried it with the foundation I'm going to talk about, and I've been using it nonstop ever since. I've been using specifically that combo ever since. So I feel like I'm cheating putting this in a favorites video because I haven't tried this with other foundations. Like I haven't tried it with my Too Faced foundation, which is my Ride or Die. But I can say something about this, just the way it preps my skin. My fine lines around my mouth are so diminished compared to the Hydro Primer by the end of the day. Normally by the end of the day I can really see my smile lines. I don't get that with this. I don't know if it's just this or this specifically with the foundation. Something about the oil I've been using, this and the foundation I've been using have just created this perfect combo, this perfect canvas if you will, where my makeup looks so smooth throughout the day. It doesn't really emphasize dry patches too much. I think using it specifically with an oil with a super matte foundation calms down the matteness of the foundation, and just my skin looks great all day. It looks so good. I've been wearing this full face of makeup for 11 hours. It is 10 o'clock at night. It is 11 o'clock at night, excuse me, and I put on my makeup around noon. All I did before filming was touch up my T-zone with a little bit of powder that I'm also going to talk about in this video, but other than that, this was good to go. I do have a little bit of foundation missing on my chin and around my nostrils, which is pretty normal for me for a full face, but this is truly a rock star. I went and got 2 backups from Ulta on top of owning this one because it's always sold out. I love it so much, and it's like a couple bucks. I don't know. I wasn't about to believe the hype, but I believe it. It's just, it's so nice. Your skin looks so nice and your makeup just lasts. It's so good. Like I said though, that also might be because I've been using specifically the e.l.f. primer with the new Juvia's Place I Am Magic foundation. I am in the shade 740 Marisol, which is the absolute lightest shade. This actually, when you put it on, looks too fair for me personally. But it does, I don't want to say oxidize because it doesn't get like orange or anything, but I feel like the foundation sets and looks a little bit darker. And I can tell that because if I put the foundation on and then put a little bit more on to do like spot treatment, let's say, you can tell because the spots are lighter and I have to like wait a second for it to all blend together, if that makes sense. It kind of reminds me of the way that the Fenty foundation kind of does the same thing. This is another product with an asterisk. So, just talking about the product itself. This is an extremely full coverage foundation. This is way more full coverage than I typically like or that I typically am used to, because I feel like if I use a full coverage foundation, I have to be way more mindful of it perfectly matching my actual skin tone because you can see that line of demarcation. But like I said, this is a pretty good match for me. So like I said, very full coverage, very, very full coverage. I personally only like applying this with a wet like beauty blender kind of sponge, not specifically beauty blender, but like a Real Technique sponge, or I like the Beauty Bakery sponge. I like to have that little bit of moisture in the sponge because I feel like it helps to spread the product, because I've noticed if I try to apply this with the brush, it's streaky. It doesn't blend as nicely. It doesn't look as skin-like. Like it looks way more foundation-y with a brush. And I think that's kind of typical for brushes versus sponges. I don't know. I have some foundations that I can only use with the brush, some that I can only use with the sponge. This is one that I personally only like to use with a sponge. This, like I said, with the e.l.f. primer is a magical fucking combination. This lasts all day for me. I really only ever notice, like I said, I'm becoming a broken record, that at the end of the day I'll lose foundation around my chin and my nose, which is so common, but this controls oil so nicely. And the reason that I've been loving it the most, the reason why I have to talk about it, is because this is the most summer-proof foundation I've ever gotten my hands on, hands down. That was a redundant statement. I used to, my Ride or Die is the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation because that is completely transfer proof in my opinion. You can hug, like I'm so short, I'm 5'3". When I hug people, my face gets on their shirt. I don't have that problem with the Too Faced foundation. This is not transfer proof. This is going to be on people's clothing if you hug them and you're short like me. But this is completely sweat proof. I'm the queen of sweat mustaches. That is the first place I sweat, and any other foundation I will immediately lose foundation there, and it'll be awkward, and I'll be like taking a sponge out of my purse all day and like trying to blend the lines, and it's like this awful scenario. That does not happen with this foundation. It's crazy. Sometimes if I'm sweating through a foundation, if I go to dab it, like let's say with a sponge, it'll immediately mess up the foundation or something. That doesn't happen with this. Even after I've powdered this, it's bananas. That's why it's a favorite. It lasts through crazy humidity. I'll wait until the brigade of motorcycles have gone away. Thank you. It lasts through crazy humidity. It lasts through sweat. I could put it on early in the morning, go run all of my errands out in the city, It's still on my face by the end of the day. I can feel confident filming a YouTube video afterwards. It does emphasize dry patches, which is why I'm not going to be doing a close-up right now, because I do have some dry patches kind of around my mouth and my chin and stuff. You do see that. I imagine if you had a lot of fine lines and a lot of dry patches, this would cling to those, and unless you're pairing them with like an oil like I said, or with like a really good primer, you're gonna see it, you're gonna be more cakey. I could rave about this all day. I can feel that this video is already long. But, however, asterisk time. This is the butt. This is the big butt of the video. Spooky lips and big butts. Juvia's Place is on a lot of people's cancel list right now, which is something that I never thought that I would get on camera and say. I am such a Juvia's Place fan. Like, I'm not gonna say the word stan because I fucking hate that word. But I'm about to film a video on stan culture too, so I don't want to get riled up, but I'm about to get a little riled up. I am such a Juvia's Place fan. I don't think I need to hold the foundation anymore. So it really broke my heart to see the recent drama that they were in, and especially the unprofessionalness of the owner, Chi-Chi, of Juvia's Place. If you don't know, I don't know how you couldn't know because it was fucking everywhere, and me and Georgia did a podcast about this. Jeffree Star bought and reviewed the foundation, gave it good reviews, whatever. People feel a lot of ways about Jeffree Star. That is not my place to talk about in this video. Juvia's Place reposted an image of the screenshot of Jeffree Star's video and basically thanked him for reviewing the foundation, and people weren't happy because of the racist past that Jeffree Star has. Whether or not you currently support Jeffree Star, that's literally not what I'm talking about right now. And if there's people in my comments being like, Jeffree Star, that's literally not the point right now. Go away. But people were upset because Jeffree Star is someone who, whether you currently like him or not, has said racist things in the past, whether you forgive him or not, whatever. And Juvia's Place is obviously a brand that brands itself on Black culture, African culture, and people of color, and people weren't happy about it, and I don't blame them. I fully can understand why Juvia's Place, with the imagery and the branding and the messages that they send, them supporting someone like Jeffree Star, I can understand how that would be conceived as problematic. And then on top of that, Jackie Aina and Alyssa Ashley got involved and called out the owner for basically not supporting Black creators until they had a makeup line and only supporting larger white influencers, and that's a whole thing. And that's really, like, I was still okay with Juvia's Place while all of this was happening. I understood both sides of the argument, I really did. What bothered me is that the owner of Juvia's Place, Chi-Chi, went on her personal Twitter and just dragged Jackie Aina, like, viciously insulting her, bringing up her sex life, claiming that she's never done anything for the Black community, and just being completely unprofessional. I don't personally have screenshots. I'm sure someone in the world does. If you type in this drama, I'm sure they exist. And then ended up like deleting all of it and blaming it on a mental breakdown. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm personally canceling Juvia's Place. I feel like an issue like this, an issue talking about literally like complex systems of like institutionalized racism and whether or not like a brand is profiting off of Black culture while not supporting Black people, like that is such a loaded topic, and I don't feel like I can reduce it to cancel culture because I think cancel culture is so bandwagony right now. But it's still not a good look for a brand owner, instead of like dealing with this professionally or in a way that would have made people like forget about it or move on or get answers, for them to delete the thing of Jeffree Star, put up an apology, take down an apology, flip out on social media, take down it, blame it on a breakdown, say fuck my brand. Like, a lot was happening in the rant. I don't know. I'm very much in the mindset of like, you're in a losing argument if you have to bring up personal jabs about another person. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm a huge Jackie Aina fan. I don't know. The whole thing is so complicated and so messy. I mentioned all of this on the podcast that me and Georgia did about advice we would give to indie brands. I really wish, one, that Juvia's Place just had an outside person controlling their social media, because it seems like the owner might be heavily involved with their social media, which is not a good thing. But two, I think a really simple response to this would have been if Juvia's Place as a brand on their social medias was just like, hey, I think people are upset with us right now for certain issues. We're going to showcase the Black artists that we have worked with and the Black creators and the Black makeup artists that we have supported, just so you know where we stand. I don't think they went about this in the most professional way. Or honestly, they also probably could have ignored this whole issue and it probably would have gone away. I don't know, me and Georgia were saying on the podcast, I can understand as a brand owner being so emotionally invested in your brand that you feel like there's a breaking point and you feel like you have no choice but to defend yourself and defend your brand. But I don't think that needs to be on social media if you are a brand owner. I think you can do that to your family, you can do that to your partner, you can do that to your best friend. I don't know. It's a really complicated issue and I currently don't know where I stand with JUVIA'S Place. It's weird. If you guys can civilly talk about it in the comments below, but that's my huge asterisk. That's my huge butt. My huge butt for this product, and I would feel weird recommending a product without giving that information to you guys. I'm gonna see if I can find other videos about the JUVIA'S Place incident to link down below, because I am just me and I'm like a white girl on the internet with a very limited perspective on this issue, so I don't want to misspeak on issues that don't personally relate to me. So I'm going to find some videos that talk about this and link them down below. Icky though, very icky. We're moving on. We're moving on to other products. Weirdly enough though, I have another product with butt to recommend. This is the new Anastasia Beverly Hills eye primer. I think it just says eye primer. Hashtag ABH eye primer. That is helpful. It's the new eye primer they released with the Alyssa Edwards collab, which I did buy the palette and this fan from the Alyssa Edwards ABH collab. The palette's not in my favorites because honestly I think it was just an okay palette. The fan can totally be in my favorites though, because this is a great fan. It says Beast, which is the trademark of the read that Alyssa Edwards gave on All Stars. This fan also makes the most satisfying thwarp noise ever. How fucking amazing is this fan? But anyway, I'm not talking about that. The eye primer came out around the same time or during the same launch as the Alyssa Edwards collab. It's supposed to be a brightening primer, a brightening base, like because it's kind of lighter. For me, it's the exact color of my skin tone, which I guess is a bonus for me because I don't have to worry about it blending into anything. But if you are any shade darker than me, which most people are, this is going to be a brightening eye primer for you. The but with this issue is the goddamn packaging. The product is amazing. I actually hadn't been using eye primer for a long time. I had just been using concealer. But I did start to notice that a lot of the products that I've been playing with lately, the eye products, eyeshadow, why did I forget the word for eyeshadow? They've been like not looking the best, so I wanted to try a new eye primer. And I'd heard good things about this. I'd heard that it was better than the P. Louise base. I've never tried the P. Louise base personally. So I got it, super excited about it. The but here is that the packaging sucks. When you open this tube, product just pours out. I'm not going to demonstrate on camera because I'm not wasting product. But I did when I first got this end up wasting quite a bit of product because I wasn't anticipating that. And from what I understand, this is a very common problem. The Ulta reviews say that this is a common problem. I know Hannah, Smoky Glow Hannah had this problem. She hates this product because of the tube. Samantha Ravindall had this problem. Like, what the fuck, ABH? I don't know if they just shoved more product than what should fit in this tube. I don't know. The design of this packaging sucks. What I actually had to do was I had to go to Target and get a little travel size container in like a kit that's supposed to be for like taking on an airplane. So it wasted $5 in my life on top of how expensive this eye primer is. And I had to open the tube over the jar and collect the product in a jar just so I wouldn't be wasting it. The product though, getting back to the product, is really nice. I squeezed the punch into this gross looking jar and I haven't had to go back in this tube because you don't need a lot. It spreads out very nicely. It is very light. Like I said, it's the color of my actual skin tone. For you, it's probably going to be lightning. White? It's going to be a light base. I do set it. I've heard a lot of people say not to set it. I don't ever like to not set eye primers. It's just my gig. I don't know. It's the way I prefer to do makeup. I will put a pretty good base of it, like a good layer of it around both my eyes, and like with a sponge kind of just lightly tap it out so that everything's kind of cohesive and nice and smooth. And eyeshadow just looks so good over this. I don't get creasing, I don't get like skipping. Sometimes if I just use concealer to prime, I'll get skipping around the outsides of my eyes. I don't have that problem anymore with this. I do think it's brightening. I do think it helps amplify pigments. It's just really nice. I like it. I think it's worth the cost in that a little product has lasted me a long way. Like a little goes such a long way, and I can see this lasting me for like the rest of the year and then some. I really can. But like, buy at your own risk because it's gonna splooge on you, and that's fucking awful and disgusting. And that's like arguably not worth the price. I actually think, did I get this with my 20% off coupon? No, I didn't. I got something else with my, every once in a while Ulta sends out 20% off whatever you want coupons. This would be something I would look out for getting with that coupon, because for the problem I'm having with the packaging, I wouldn't personally pay full price for this again. That's my 2 cents. On top of that, I've talked about so many base products. The Peach Perfect foundation from Too Faced. Mine's in the shade Translucent Peach Whisper. Okay, I think there's 1 or 2 more shades in this. This is fucking fantastic. I also got this during the insider sale, and I had heard really good things about this, and I'm such a sucker for loose powder. I use loose powder to set my face, and I also love to bake. I always bake my under eyes, and every once in a while I'll do like the thing, but I just have like a round baby face, so I don't think it matters. But under eyes are a must. This is so great. This is gonna be an instant repurchase. This is gonna be a holy grail product. I can see it. It's so expensive, and I'm so hesitant to buy an expensive loose setting powder because I just breeze through it, and half the time I dump it on myself or dump it on my vanity, or it gets on my black leggings. But I love this so much. This is so mattifying. I think this is the most mattifying loose powder I've personally ever tried. And I kind of, along with the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation, which is another favorite of mine, that's very mattifying, but it still looks skin-like. I don't think I get overly dry and crusty and awful with this foundation. I think it kind of keeps that skin-like finish. It's such a light powder. It's so smooth. The only problem with this is the heavy peachy fig scent that this and the foundation has. If you're sensitive to scents, do not get either of these products. They reek of that kind of synthetic peach scent. I personally like it. I like that it has this like sifter on top. I'm still making a mess either way. I also think you get a really good, there's a cloud of powder. I also think you get a lot of product with this. You get 1.23 ounces, and also with the foundation I think you get 1.5 ounces. Like, it's a really, I think for the money it's not bad, the amount of product you get. The scent is just really heavy. I can see it turning a lot of people's stomach. I can see it affecting people's sensitivity in their skin. I don't know why Too Faced has to heavily scent everything. Would people consider their products like cutesy still if they didn't have scents? Is that part of the cutesy factor? I don't know. It's a nice jar too, like it feels luxurious. Oh, it's just really nice. I had to mention it because this with the foundation, with the primers, has just been this summer. Another product I got during the VIB sale. This packaging gets so dirty so fast. This is the Fenty Beauty, that was my closet, bronzer. This is the Stalk'r bronzer in Inda Sun. During my haul video, I falsely called it Indian Sun because I'm not smart. Inda Sun, which is the lightest shade, and I have really loved this bronzer because, one, the consistency is so nice. I'm going to try swatching it, but I don't think it's going to do anything. I don't know if you can tell by the swatch, but this is just such a nice wash of bronzer. It's not too intense, which is why I really like it, because I'm very heavy-handed with my cheek products, as you can tell. I don't worry about looking Neapolitan ice cream like with this product with all my other cheek products, because it's such a nice wash of color. It blends out so easily and so smoothly, and this personal color for me works so nicely. It's like my ideal bronzer shade because it's very neutral. It's not too cool tone. It's not like a traditional like contour shade, but it's also not super warm either. It's not super orangey like a lot of bronzers can be. It's just perfectly neutral, and because of that consistency, it blends out so nicely. I love it so much. This, I think, and the butter bronzer always are like always a favorite because they're just so smooth and not heavily pigmented. I don't know why that took so long to get out. I don't like when cheap products have too much pigment, especially in a bronzer, because you can go overboard so easily, and I don't have that problem with the Fenty bronzer. I'm not normally one to spend Fenty prices for bronzers because like I said, I like the butter bronzer, which is like 10 bucks, but I think this was honestly worth the money, and I did get it on sale too, which makes it extra worth the price to me. On top of that, I also got the 3 new Tutti Frutti blush duos, the fruit cocktail blush duos. I got Papaya Pop, Like My Melons, question mark, and Berries and Bubbly. I have raved about the Too Faced Tutti Frutti blush duos in the past. Again, they're scented. I don't mind the scentedness of Too Faced's products. It does go away for me when I apply it, but I can see a lot of people hating this. I don't know why I'm gesturing. I'm not wearing this blush today because I didn't think that far, but I'm going to talk about them all the same. This is Berries and Bubbly. I'm going to try to hide the mirror. It is such a nice soft pink shade, and for me this is the only highlighty part of the duos that I personally can get away using as an actual highlighter for my skin tone out of all of the Fruit Cocktail blushes. I have them all. When I saw that they were releasing new shades, I immediately got them. I did happen to get them on sale though. I used my 20% off coupon for these, which is just perfect. What was I saying? Highlighter shades. The rest of the highlighting shades for these blushes tend to be too dark for me, but I don't typically use them as a blush and a highlighter. I like to swirl the products together to just get a really glowy blush, which is my favorite. This one is in Like My Melons. Really pretty watermelon-y kind of bubblegum shade. I wouldn't say it's like a true dark watermelon. It's more like a bubblegummy watermelon shade. And then this one is Papaya Pop, which is also really pretty. The but with these three products is that these particular three shades, I'm looking down, these particular three shades that were just released, I feel like are all super similar. I feel like with the original Fruit Cocktail duos, all of the shades are relatively different. So for someone like me who wants to own them all because I'm ridiculous, I can get away doing that because they don't all look alike. With these three newest ones, you definitely don't need all three of them. I just did it because I'm a mad person. My personal favorite out of all of them, of the three newest ones, has been the Berries and Bubbly, but all the shades are really, really nice. Like the Fenty bronzer, these are also relatively sheer, but you can build them up to be very pigmented. And I love, like I said, mixing them in with the highlighty shade because that way you get a very glowy blush, which I feel like is so beautiful for the summer right now. I've been so blush happy lately. I've been loving to pile on the blush at the tops of my cheeks up here and kind of do a draping thing more so than like contouring lately. I fell out of love with contouring a while ago. These are stunning. The only other but besides not needing all of them is that there is like heavy chunks of glitter in the highlighty side, which I feel like can go away if you just tap out your brush. Like I'm just swatching one of them and you don't really pick up a lot of the glitter, but I can see not wanting chunks of glitter on your cheeks, especially as a blush and not as a highlighter. I don't know why they shoved these like heavy glitter specks into all of these, but I personally haven't noticed on my own cheeks like throughout the day like, oh, there's specks of glitter on me. I feel like if I swirl it all around, it just kind of makes a nice glowy blush. I love them. Another cheek product that I've been loving, this is the Milani Afterglow highlighter in Strobelight. I believe this is the lightest shade. There's a couple shades in these Milani highlighters. I just happened to pick this up on a whim in a Target. I used to be a fiend for like picking up random ass makeup in the drugstore just because I was curious and wanted to try a lot of stuff. Now that I have so much goddamn makeup, I don't like to do that as often. But I went there to grab a Pixie highlighter and I figured what the hell, I would try this one too. And this has been such an amazing highlighter for me. First of all, for my skin tone, it is such a good shade. It is kind of like this champagne pink, which I love. But for a drugstore highlighter, this is absolutely blinding. It is the highlighter I'm wearing today. This is incredible. I have never had a highlighter this consistency from the drugstore before. I haven't gotten a drugstore highlighter in a while. I'm used to like the Wet n Wild ones, but I don't feel like they're as great as everybody has hyped them up to me. Unpopular opinion. This reminds me of like a higher end formula. This doesn't feel drugstore to me. This is so wet looking and so blinding, and it doesn't have a speck of that glitter fleck like I talked about in the Too Faced blushes. This is just smooth and nice and so super blinding. I love it so much, and it's just been such a good shade, and it goes with so many looks, and I feel like that slightly pink highlighter kind of just complements my paleness and my stark whiteness. I really, really love this. I was shocked by this quality, so I wanted to throw it in here. I don't really have a lot of new highlighters, shockingly, but I've been loving this one. Before I get to the eyeshadow palettes, I'm also going to mention more highlighting products. These are the Aftershock quads from Clionadh Cosmetics. I learned about these from E.l.f. here on YouTube. What these are, I know these look very small for highlighting pans, but these are very reminiscent of the Kat Von D Alchemy palette. because I really have been loving to use these as transformer shades, especially this black palette. I don't know if it has a separate name from the white one. The shades are so pretty in here, and what makes them different from a lot of duochrome highlighters that I've used in the past, I'm going to try to use my wrist, is that they just don't have any whiteness to their bases. They just really, I don't know if you can see them, this is such a bad swatch, they just have the kind of glowy effect of the highlighters themselves. Let's see, I'm making a mess. I don't know if you can see it, but you just kind of get the color that they're reflecting. You don't get a white base. That's what I'm trying to get across. So I've been loving to use these as transformer shades. This is the Milani one. These are some of the Clionadh ones. Using these as transformer shades have been amazing. I love to put them in the inner corner of my eye looks to kind of amplify whatever color is in my inner corner. That's what I've done today with another product that I'm going to talk about in a second. I've put the green shade High Voltage in the inner corners to really amp up the greenness. I've been loving to do that with eye looks. I've been loving them specifically for the inner corner. I also like them for the center of the lid. I also like them for the tops of the cheekbones, at the tops of the forehead for like a nice highlighting effect. I love these so much. I had waited so long for these to come back in stock, and it took a couple weeks once I ordered it for them to get to me. But I think that they were worth every penny. They were worth the wait. This is such a good product. Like, I'm mesmerized looking at them at my hand right now. They're so absolutely pretty. I love these so much. It has been so fun to play with these with eye looks specifically. One more product before I get into palettes. This is the Colourpop BFF Volumizing Mascara in Little White Lie. This is what is making my lower lash line white in this video. Also, if you go on my Instagram, which is also Speak Lips and Fat Hips, a lot of my eye looks lately, I've had white eyeliner on the bottom, not eyeliner, white mascara on the bottom. It's this. This is fucking amazing. I have a couple of the BFF mascaras in the different colors. The black one for just mascara is just okay. I found that it can flake and then it gets in your eyes and it fucking hurts. So I've been primarily just sticking with the colored ones on the lower lashes. I'll show you the wand. It has kind of a very Too Faced, Better Than Sex, like hourglass mascara wand shape. I don't care about that. I like to cake this the hell on my lower lash line because I've found it makes my eye look stand out so much outside of my glasses. I also feel like it's just been something different that I can bring to my eye looks other than just doing like my same crazy eyeliner and my same like colorful smoky eye every time I do my makeup. Changing up the lower lash line colors has really just, it has the power to change an entire eye look. I also think specifically because I have these large frames and my new glasses are black and they fade to clear. Something about the white with the clear glasses mixed with like the contrast of the lashes with the lower lash line color, like all of it is so striking to me. I get so many compliments on my makeup when I use this mascara on my lower lash line, and I just love it so much. I love the effect that specifically the white one creates so much. You can definitely get the same effect with the other colors. I really like the yellow one and the blue one. The red one's fun too. I just personally feel like you only get that crazy standout effect if you're doing a crazy standout like contrasting color on your lower lash line and then you do a different color on your mascara, if that makes any sense. And it's just so fun and different, and I feel like my eye looks have gotten boring and the same and redundant over and over. I'm sure a lot of people don't like my makeup. I love my makeup, but I always felt like I was doing the same thing, and I feel like using something like a white mascara just gives me a little bit of a change. Sometimes my eye look will be like, all right, you're good, but then I throw in a color mascara, I'm like, oh my god, now it's out of this world crazy. Could just be me. I do find this to be kind of goopy. I feel like the tube doesn't do a good job pulling excess products like off of the wand, especially with my yellow one. I think that tube is broken because the wand gets so goopy that I really have to scrape the extra product off of it. A train has interrupted me. I don't even remember what I was saying. A train. Something about the trains in Albany that Matt and I always joke about is sometimes you get pleasant train where it's just like, toot toot, I'm a train just passing through. And then sometimes you get angry fucking big train that's just like, move out of the way, motherfuckers, I'm a train. What? Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's like two different conductors and one of them's just always having a bad day. I don't know. I don't remember what I was saying. The mascara is good. It's really clumpy. the tube doesn't take off a lot of the product, so you do get very spidery lashes. I like that, especially if I'm going for a wham bam effect like a colored mascara, but I think if you were just using this as a normal mascara to make your eyelashes look nice, you might not like it. It might be too clumpy and too 90s for you. I don't know. Okay, finally moving on to eyeshadow, the thing that I love the most. I have been absolutely fucking loving the Furturism collection from Kaleidos Cosmetics. I also want to give a shout out to the brand. They didn't send me these products. I bought this with my own money. But after I bought them, they reached out to me offering to send these to me. So I appreciate the thought. I appreciate that they were going to send it to me. I would feel weird not saying that because this isn't PR, but it could have been PR. But I did pay for this, and I do really like these products. So as a consumer, I'm going to talk about them. I hope you'll stick with me. I will say, you order these palettes and they come from China. I think the brand directly works with the distributor in China, or part of the brand is established in China. They explain it on their website. So the products ship from China, so it does take a hot second to get to you. They came in the most beautifully prepared package though. Like I said, wasn't a PR package, that's just the way they ship it to you. And then these palettes are just so stunning as it is. They're very tiny little 6-pan palettes. You open it up kind of like a book. You have this watercolored-esque, water marbly kind of design. I'm going to not try to blind you, but you do have the mirror on one side, and then you have your colors. This one is I'm holding it upside down. This is the Sci-Fi Green palette. I think if I didn't have the Gemini palette from Milk Cosmetics, this would be my favorite palette, but I like one of the other ones better, just personally. This one is the Cyber Bronze palette. If you are kind of like neutrally eye kind of fan, this would be the one for you. This is really, really pretty. My personal favorite is the Astro Pink palette. I like the Astro Pink palette the most for this shade alone. This blue shade is such a crazy duochrome foiled craziness. I'll swatch it and then I still have highlighter from the Clionadh palette on me. I'm going to swatch this one and then I'll swatch some of the others that I find stunning from the other palettes. The reason I love these palettes so much is because the texture of the foiled shadows is absolutely out of this world. They're so impressive, they're so blingy, they're so shiny, and specifically with this blue shade that I referenced, it's so duochrome and also super sparkly. Like, I imagine that this shadow specifically, like this kind of texture, is what people rave about in like the Pat McGrath palettes, let's say, because the effect that this creates on your eyes is absolutely spectacular. I love putting these blingy shades in the inner corners. I love putting them on the lids, all over the lids. It's such an impactful look. The mattes are definitely good as well. I like personally to mix and match the mattes in all of the palettes just because I feel like I get more variety that way. If I stick just within the palette, I tend to get kind of one-tone looks. So I like to cross-pollinate throughout all the palettes, but I love them so much. I think the mattes blend out beautifully. They're not too pigmented. They're not too like dense of a shadow. It's not like, I feel like for in indie brands there was a trend for a while for a really dense, thick, kind of cakey pigmented shadow, and I think we're kind of reverting back to a lighter, kind of smoother, easier to blend up shadow. I find the mattes to be very much like that. And then the metallics, you get a very like simple, nice satin, but you also get these heavy, crazy metallic foils, and I just love these so much. I think my eyelids come out so pretty, and I also think having the smaller palettes, some of them are upside down yet again, I like having these smaller palettes because they're nice and curated and simple and cute, and I feel like for a while now we've been kind of trending towards more curated palettes in the beauty community because we all have the fucking 35-pan Morphe palettes. We have these crazy big over the top, almost too much to choose from palettes. I think having these like 6-pan little nicer color stories that kind of just get the job done. You get like your nice transition, your deepening shade, your lid shades, you're good to go. I like that. I just think they're so special and nice. I really like Kaleidos because they have different kind of textured eyeshadows. I have their first eyeshadow palette as well because I know Angelica was raving about it, and Angelica can sell me anything. But I love the way that they personally as a brand play with textures. I agree with Angelica when she says that she thinks that's the wave of the future of makeup. that it's not going to be about like color stories anymore, but it's going to be about different textures going forward. I totally agree with that, and I love the textures that they've been putting in their palettes. I love the like creamy glitters and the super impactful shiny shades. I think they're so pretty. Again, not sponsored. I paid for these palettes, but they were offered to be sent to me, so I do want to disclose that because I don't want to seem biased. I, like I said, had already been loving them and knowing that I was going to put them in a favorites video before I got in contact with the brand. So to me, that was just a really nice added bonus, and I'm really appreciative of that. And then the eyeshadow palette that I'm wearing today that I'm so excited about. This is the Spectral palette from Linda Hallberg, which I realize that I'm saying her name super American, and I'm so sorry. I wish I could insert Paulina Beauty doing like a Swedish word of the day of how to say Linda's name in this video, because when Paulina reviewed this palette, she taught us how to say it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This palette is absolutely fucking amazing. These colors spoke to me the second I saw it, and this is a pricier palette, so I didn't want to pull the trigger on this at first, but then I saw Paulina's review, and then I think it went on sale for Memorial Day. I think Memorial Day it was like you got free shipping, and they sent like a face gloss. What is the clear glass product? I forget the name right now. I'm sorry, I'm talking about this. So I figured fuck it, I would get it. I have been so happy with this palette. First of all, the colors remind me of like 90s Nickelodeon cartoons. I love it so much. I get like Rocko's Modern Life, All Real Monsters, Rugrats, like all of those vibes from this palette. It is such a great color story. I think the closest I have to this color story might be the Strobe Cosmetics Creepy Cute palette, or maybe the Kat Von D Pastel Goth, but I don't think Pastel Goth comes close to this. I feel like Creepy Cute might be the closest one. This is so fun and unique to me, and I've been having so much fun with this palette. I think the eye looks you create with this, if you don't stray and grab from other palettes, are so unique. I've used it on my eyes today. I'm not going to do a close-up because I've been wearing this makeup for 12 hours and I know I'm nasty looking. But I have a coat kind of packed on my outer corners. I do find with the coat I have to put this down first and kind of pack it where I want it and blend out the edges because it doesn't windshield wiper blend the way that the other mattes do. So I have that in the outer corners. Then I've blended it out with Unknown. I have Unknown in the rest of my crease. I have Abstract all over the lid, and this is another beautiful duochromy sparkly ass shade that kind of takes on the properties of whatever other colors you mix with it. So if you mix it with the kind of purples and pinks, you get the more purpley duochromeness of this shadow, and it's really pretty. But if you keep it with the blue and the green, or this kind of like aqua I should say, it sticks more blue. It's such a beautiful shade. It's so sparkly. This Illusion shade as well, so super sparkly as well, and I'm not saying sparkly in a bad way. I'm saying it in a very like stunning, interesting, like special, kind of different than other shadows I have kind of way. Faint and Dim are more like satiny shades. They're not as impactful as these two colors, so I like them for the inner corners. You can also definitely get away using this in the crease because they're not too sparkly. I'm not personally a fan of shimmers in the crease, but you can get away with that with these colors for sure. I have Faint in my inner corners, but I did, like I mentioned earlier, throw a Clionadh Aftershock on top as well just to amplify that green. And I have Phantom all over my lower lash line with the white mascara, and this is such a fun look. I've actually done this exact look like multiple times because I get compliments every time I do this exact look, and I just think the colors are so fun together. I think all of these colors work very nicely together. Even if you can't blend, say, the colors into each other, just pair together this curatedness, I don't know, this collection of shades together was very thoughtful to me, and I think they work together really nicely. And like I said, these two sparkly foiled shades are out of this actual world. My hand is so dirty from swatching. Bear with me, guys. I do personally use these two shades, there you go, focus, over a glitter primer because I have found that even with a glitter primer, the glitter transfers to my crease and like the top of my lid, or not top of my lid, the top of my eyes I should say. I don't personally mind it. It still is a pretty eye look. It's not so terrible where I feel like the eye look is ruined, but I definitely recommend a sticky base with these and not just a wet brush, but that's just me personally. So this really like has been a fun palette for me to play with. This has been so different than a lot of the other palettes that I've seen. I think this is one of the more unique releases of the year personally. I also think because this is such a colorful, unique palette, this would be a great kind of pop palette to add with other palettes to kind of get more unique shades that you wouldn't see normally. And I just really love the quality. Like I said, the metallics are so sparkly and nice, but the thing I love about the mattes is they come off way more pigmented on the eyes than they do in the pans, and you can really nicely build these up and blend them out. You can really kind of start sheer and work your way up to impactfulness, especially if you're using a lighter base like the AVH eye primer. It's just so nice. It's such a great formula. I really cannot recommend this palette enough. I do personally think it's worth the money. As someone who loves colorful eyeshadow, I think the quality is outstanding. I'm very impressed by this. And then to end my makeup products, the only lip product I've really been reaching for this summer has been the So Juicy lip glosses from Colourpop. I'm a crazy person and I have every shade because I love this formula so much. I have picked just a couple of my favorites to share with you guys, but I really, every single day without fail, I grab one of these. I constantly have multiple shades in my purse. It's just such a good lip gloss. I'm gonna add more real quick. Alright, I've reapplied. This is such a fun product for me. First of all, I love the old school squeezy tube that's very reminiscent of the early millennia. If you were a millennial in middle school in like the early 2000s, I think you know what I'm talking about. I also love that this is such a shiny lip product, and it's like the right amount of sticky to me. It's not so sticky that it's gross. I don't find it to be goopy. I find it to be sticky without goopy, if that makes sense. The stick really helps adhere it to your lips really good. I don't feel like I talk it away too fast. You definitely lose it if you eat or drink, and it's definitely not an all-day thing, but it's a lip gloss. It's simple. I can keep applying it all day long. I'm not worried about it being fucked up throughout the day and like a liquid lipstick where I have to like carefully take everything off and retouch it. It's just nice. A lot of the shades are redundant. You don't need to be a crazy person like me and get all the shades. You don't. That's absolutely ridiculous. Some of the shades have absolutely no glitter in them at all. They're just a nice sheer wash of color. Other shades are completely sparkly and have a shit ton of sparkle in them. I don't personally find the sparkle to be gritty, but I also don't mind glitter in lip products normally. I also can't comment on whether or not your hair will get stuck into these lip glosses. I'm sure they will, but as you can see, I don't have that problem. But the shades that I have picked out as my favorites, the one I'm wearing today, it's in the Cut. I love this one. I grabbed for this one probably the most out of all of them. I also really personally love Beechwood. It's kind of more brownie, and I also reached for this a lot when I was working at the spa. This is the one I wore pretty much every day. Partly Rowdy, I believe this is the one that is an Ulta exclusive, but this is so shimmery and nice. It's almost like a peachy nude with some gold in it. So pretty. QT, this is like an iridescent pink clear. Love it. Is a Habit, it's a little bit more reddish, but it's like a darker red. It's not so like bubblegummy and like almost childlike. And then the clear one, Princess Cut. This on top of any lip product makes your lips look so juicy. As far as plumping goes, I don't find these to be plumping. I think they're minty, and that can either be a pleasant texture or feeling or experience, or it can be very off-putting. I don't find it to be painful. I've tried like Too Faced lip injections, for instance, where you're almost like, oh, I don't know if this is worth it. It's just kind of tingly. It almost feels like a menthol kind of product, like a vapor rub. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of almost similar to that. I don't personally find it to be plumping. I have a nice lip size normally, not to be like that, but I like the size of my lips. So I'm really just wearing it for the like juicy lip look, but I really like it. I grab for these constantly, non-stop. I really like the nice kind of level of sheer color that they achieve, because I do see enough of a difference that if I grab for like a reddish tone versus like a pinkish tone, it can change the effect of the rest of my makeup. I can't say enough good things about these. I fucking love these lip glosses. Okay, we're almost done. I just want to share 2 non-makeup things that I've been really loving, and then we're done. I swear. The first thing I want to share is less of a thing and more of an activity that I've started to do again. I had done it for a while, and then I just specifically got this journal today, and I thought it was so pretty. I got this from Barnes & Noble, and I also got these pins that I put on. The pins aren't from Barnes & Noble. The pins, weirdly enough, are from Ace Hardware. The Ace Hardware in Troy, New York has all of this like hipster local kind of shit in the center of it. It's weird. So I got the pins separate, but the journal is really beautiful. I got it from Barnes & Noble. But less about the journal and more about the activity. I'm starting to bullet journal again, which has been so nice and so good at keeping me calm and organized and just thoughtful recently. I put everything in my bullet journals. I pull tarot cards every day and I'll write down whatever I think I'm getting from the tarot cards in here. I've started to create a list of all of my houseplants in here and what each individual kind of species needs care wise, and like drawing little pictures of them. I'm not going to show you guys the inside because that's personal. I do like to-do lists, videos I have to film. I've been keeping track of my YouTube analytics. I've marked my progress from like first video to now, just audience wise, views wise, videos wise. I write down my video ideas in here, just things I need to accomplish. When I was still in school, I used to write down all the assignments that I had to do. It's just so fun. I'm not a particularly artistic person, but what I do to kind of get this in the bullet journaling style is I'll use different colored pens for different things, and I feel like the different colors help really keep me organized. And you can change it up. Like, I really truly bullet things. I don't write longhand thoughts. I keep it very short and sweet. If I do dots one day, maybe in a different color, I'll do stars or arrows. I'll draw circles around things or bubble things or square them off. I'm constantly just writing in bullet journals, and I just think it's so helpful to stay organized. I am such an unorganized person, and then I get unorganized, and then I get anxious, and I get stressed, and then when I'm anxious I don't want to do anything. This keeps me focused, it keeps me motivated, it keeps a very clear, concise list of the things I need to do, the things that I want to accomplish, and even more like frou-frou spiritual things, like the things I want to manifest, just like feelings and thoughts. But I just love it so much, and I really recommend everyone kind of picking up some kind of like journaling kind of habit, because I just think it's so therapeutic. I know it's so cheesy and so like, we know, lazy, that and yoga, blah blah blah, but it's so fun and it's so nice. And I've got this book, this journal specifically was $15. I got it on clearance at Barnes & Noble, and it is so good. My battery died, and my backup battery doesn't have a lot of memory on it either, or room on it either, power on it either, so we're just gonna keep going. And then finally, plants. I've become a crazy plant lady. You can see a lot of it on my Instagram, like I said, which is also Speakles and Fat Hips. So I do want to start incorporating plant content onto this channel. I hope you guys are ready for that. And to start, I'm going to include a plant favorite in my favorites video. This is a happy bean plant. It's a type of peperomia. I got the plant and the container that it's in from Ace Hardware, again in Troy. Shout out to the Ace Hardware in Troy. It's like a fun place to go to, which is weird to say. This is a super easy to take care of plant. I just give it good indirect sunlight. I wait for it to completely dry out before I water it again, like all of my peperomias. And it's just so fun and unique. It looks like string beans. It's kind of like crazy. I love how it looks in this pot. It brings me so much joy. It is so different and so unique. I walked into the store not expecting to find anything cool, and then I saw this and I had to leave the store with this. I love this plant so much. Plants in general have brought me so much happiness lately. I'm obsessed with plants lately. I've always wanted to get into plants. I had some plants growing up. I couldn't have plants in my last place. I explained this in my Domestic Goddess podcast that me and Georgia just did. I've had so much happiness discovering plants and just indoor gardening and collecting house plants and just taking care of them, learning their scientific names, learning what makes them flourish, watching them grow, taking care of them in times of crisis. Like, I'm so into plants and house plants, and I get why people get obsessed with them. They're so addicting, and they've really just helped me make this space feel like home, and have helped me feel at home and helped me feel so happy. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression issues. I talked about this in my like catch-up video, but plants and taking care of plants has brought me a whole lot of joy. I know that probably sounds cheesy, but I think it's just, they're so fun, and they just make a space look amazing. I have filled my home with greenery, and it looks fucking great here. I love it so much. My apartment is so fucking cute. Look how fun he is. I named him Stir Fry. He's so fucking cute. And with that, that is all of my favorites that I've been loving lately. I apologize if I was looking at the viewfinder during this video and not at the lens. I'm getting in the habit. I'm trying to get back into filming. It's weird. If you liked this video, if you like favorites videos, and if you like me, please hit like and subscribe. I don't normally say this, but hit the bell so you get notified of my uploads, because I'm just now starting to get back into a routine of filming and uploading. So if you don't want to miss my uploads, hit the bell. You can always catch them. means a lot to me. Talk to me down below about your favorites you've been loving lately, about my picks for favorites lately, and also respectfully talk to me down below about the more like controversial things that I've talked about in this video. Follow me on my Instagram, which is also Spooky Lips and Fat Hips, to see what I'm loving in real time. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. My battery's dying again, so I'm gonna get off camera. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys!